have no other choice.
Yeah. Feelings don't matter.
Right.
You know, a lot of social media talks about like the soft life and balance and burnout and all of that. If you're not experiencing all of those things,
Right.
then you're not going to be a successful entrepreneur. Those things, figuring that out comes after you have put everything into place to get you where you can coast.
Right.
But while you're building, you should be overwhelmed.
It's part of it.
You should be stressed out. You should be burnt out. You should be, because
I don't know, Tiff, you scaring me now.
I'm not.
Welcome you guys to Key and Will's The More You Know podcast.
Welcome, fam.
Yes, where you know better, you do better. Thank you for tuning in. Make sure you like, subscribe. We talk about all things real estate and lifestyle. We are here today. We're continuing our series around women entrepreneurs, and we are celebrating this month with some very special guests today.
Listen, family, we have the one and only Miss Tiffani Hawes. Listen, family. She's everybody's favorite closing attorney.
Yes. Closing attorney.
Listen, fam.
Literally.
Listen, she is a mom, a wife, of course, a very successful entrepreneur.
Absolutely.
She's the owner, the chief, the CEO.
I get all the bills.
Of the Hawes Law Firm here in Atlanta, Georgia. Everybody knows Tiffani. You might have caught her on her own TV reality show. What is it, Ladies Who List?
Ladies Who List.
Yes, she was phenomenal on that. She's doing a little... Listen, I just want to say, not only are they good at what they do, but she creates an experience, and we appreciate it.
And they're very knowledgeable. Welcome, Tiffani.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Look, I just want you to introduce me to the world every single day. I think it'll motivate me.
We got you.
Yes.
Thank you for being here today. We really appreciate you taking the time. We know that you're very busy. You have offices throughout Atlanta. We really were very thoughtful. Will and I were very thoughtful about the women that we wanted to include in our series for Women Entrepreneur and celebrating the successes of those entrepreneurs this month. So thank you. Thank you very much for being here. You are awesome and wonderful.
Anything. For you. Y'all are amazing.
Thank you.
Y'all have amazing energy.
Thank you.
Your client experience is amazing.
Appreciate that.
How you communicate. How I feel appreciated.
Yes.
So, thank you.
I appreciate this one.
Yes, it is.
Thank you
like,
so
no,
much.
it's real, because I guess in any industry, you know, things can get, you know, tense and all this stuff.
Sure.
But not one time have I've ever experienced any of that type of energy with y'all.
Yeah.
And I appreciate that.
Well, you know, likewise, because our experience with all of your attorneys, all of your staff has been stellar. We've never, again, they communicate very well. There's never a time that we've reached out and we weren't able to work through, you know, you guys, real estate can be a very dynamic, situation, and things are changing all the time. And there's never a time that we've reached out that we haven't, that it's gone unresponded to. So talk to us, Tiffani, about how you got to this place where you are so successful in owning your own law firm.
And even taking it, I was just, because we were preparing for this interview, and we've known each other for a little while now, but I really wanted to know, like, what was it that you said, you know what, I want to have my own law firm.
Right.
Because most, you know, I know you passed the bar, you did all that stuff. And it's like, you know, I know you did paralegal for a number of years and sort of gained some experience. But what was it to say, you know, instead of going to work, or did you go work for a company first?
You never did.
Oh, my goodness. Please talk to us
about
that. Please talk to us about that.
So when you work for people, people have their way of doing things. And because I was a paralegal, prior to going to law school, during law school, the experience that I saw was just very transactional.
Right.
And for us, meaning people of color, buying a home, for me, it just felt like it was more than that. You know what I'm saying? It was more than just you come in, you sign, you do all of this. And so when I was in law school, of course, with the support of my husband, because bills still need to be paid.
Yes,
we talked about it, and I was like, you know what? I don't want to go work for somebody. Like, I've been doing this in the capacity of a paralegal.
Right.
Now I've gone and spent $300,000 in student loans.
Ugh.
Why am I going to then shift back into the same mode? So it was never an option.
So you were married at the time you were starting law school?
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
Wow.
I was married. My son was like 2 when we got married. When I went to law school, he was in kindergarten.
Okay.
Yeah. So.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. So
Did you always know you were going to go to law school? Was that something that...
yeah.
Okay, you knew that.
It's so crazy. I was young. I was like 7 or 8 years old. And I actually put this in my, you had to write like a one-page law school letter or something. And in that letter, I remember being young, watching Judge Judy or whoever judge shows.
Yeah, yeah.
And, it was always about divorce or something or whatever. And I was like, Mom, when I get older, I want to be an attorney so I can have my own.
Wow.
And if I divorce my husband, I'll put him out of my house.
Whoa, I love that.
And so that was literally what I said, like at 9. So high school, I wanted to be a lawyer. Undergrad, I wanted to be a lawyer. I ended up getting pregnant with my oldest. That kind of put the law school dreams on hold for just a little bit. But it was never like, you know how when you grow up, I want to be a policeman. And then you never want to be a policeman. Yeah. No, for me, it was like, I don't know. That's why I feel like it's my gift. I knew at a early, for sure.
Yeah, and that speaks to the title of this series, Women Who Dare to Dream.
Yeah.
And the fact that you dreamed that from an early age. I didn't realize that, to now taking it to the next level as you transition through college and so forth.
And I don't even know if the dream, like if I believe the dream. Because I don't want to say that I had this dream and I knew it was gonna, come to a point where I was actually gonna be an attorney. Like, I don't know if I actually really believe that. It's what I said. It's what I just said.
You just said it.
What I kept saying, and because a lot of times, like when you're younger, and let's say you meet attorneys, and they give you this speech and like, oh, this is what you got to do. Yeah. Sometimes you still can't see yourself in their position. Sometimes you feel like it's not for you. Like it's only for them. They were special. They made it. Like, can I really do that? And but I kept saying it. I'm going to be a lawyer. I'm going to be a lawyer. I'm going to be a lawyer. So really, I honestly had no other choice but just to walk it out.
Right.
And in walking it out, you realize that this is easy. Like, whatever your dream is, it doesn't matter. It's just
actually doing the work.
Doing it.
Doing the work.
Just doing
just
it.
Keep
it's
moving.
not just for
keep doing.
Everyone else. Because I think we do that with like a lot of things.
Right.
But like I said, I tell people this story, but in my mind and in my spirit, like I said, at that time, I don't think I truly believed like it was going to happen for me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah.
Were there examples in your family or when you were in school? Did you see examples of other attorneys and you were like, okay, this is confirmation. This is what I want to do. I'm sure about it. Or you didn't even have those examples. Yeah.
No, I didn't. What I did have was probably anxiety. And anxiety in the positive sense will push you to do whatever you need to do.
True. Yeah.
To accomplish whatever you need to accomplish. It allows you to multitask, to see, different goals and go after each one because there's the push. I gotta get it done. I gotta get it done. I gotta get it done.
And I said I was gonna do it.
And I said I was gonna do it.
Said
so
I was
need
gonna
to
do it.
Yeah. So that's like the positives of, oftentimes when people associate anxiety, it's like something negative to it. But truly, like it's what pushed
anxiety
me.
drives you into
drives
your
you.
destiny, if you will.
Correct. Yes.
Yeah. So you are coming up on how many years now in business
10
for
years.
10 years.
10
Can
years.
I give you,
Yes. 10 years. Yes.
Wow. So a decade.
That's awesome.
A decade.
Congratulations.
Thank you
So
so much.
part of this podcast and this series is for us to be really transparent about the real of the challenges, because we see everyone, they see Tiffani is so successful as a real estate attorney, Key and Will are so successful as realtors, and they just sort of see the highlights on social media.
Social media is,
But they don't understand that to get to where we are today, there was some very hard challenges. And even where we're going to the next level is going to be another level of challenges. What challenges have you experienced? I'm sure if you've been in the game for 10 years, how has that impacted that dream? Have you thought about maybe this isn't for me? Or how does it, you know what I mean? So because we've had that conversation, and we was like, man, would we really want to do this?
Right.
You know what I mean? So I'm just not, what challenges have you
There's so many challenges. You have your challenges of how you're going to get business, how you're going to keep business. Right. But there's bigger challenges even in that, even in the relationships that you build. And people often hear this, like, not everybody's here to see you win. Some people really feed off negativity, and they want you to fail. They want you to do something wrong. Oftentimes, being a woman of color, you get stigmatized with, this is why I don't do business with Black businesses. And 99% of the time, they're saying that as a result of them not being educated on the process.
Right.
And when you yourself don't understand, and somebody is telling you something different that doesn't align with what you thought, then you think that person is wrong. But I've been doing this for 20 years, and I've seen so many transactions.
Right.
And sometimes, as you said in the beginning, real estate is one of those things. Anything can happen at any moment. And just because it doesn't align, or just because it doesn't make you feel good, right? Because, this happens. Now we got to cross this hurdle, and now we got to jump through this hoop and all of this. Doesn't mean that it's a Black business thing, because
it's a business
it's
thing.
a business thing. It's a real estate thing.
It's a real estate thing.
It's something, one thing can trigger 10 things.
Absolutely.
And then you have to put out 10 fires. And oftentimes when you're dealing with a population of real estate agents, no matter what color or whatever, because anybody can go get a real estate license. You can go take the test, and then you can go sell real estate.
That's right.
Doesn't mean that you're actually really educated on the process.
Right.
But when you have those that are not attacking you, when you've been doing this, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like,
so hurtful.
It's very hurtful because it used to be hurtful. Now I'm used to it. You know what I'm saying?
Now it just rolls off.
Now it's just
the skin thickens, and you move on.
You just move on. You don't take it personal.
Yeah.
But when you work so hard, when you acquire so much knowledge, when you actually know what you're talking about, and you want to be a resource for people.
Yeah.
Like, I love when somebody says, "Oh, I didn't know."
Yeah.
It's like, well, let me tell you that, and let me give you some more.
Yeah.
Let me pour into you, because you're not going to know everything, just like I'm not going to know everything.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So I'll never come from a place of like, I don't want to be in that place. In real estate, let's just all learn together.
Yeah.
Let's all figure this out. We all have the same goal. It's not like
each other's back.
Correct.
Yeah.
If you can help me, I can help you. Why don't we do that as a community?
Yeah, and that's what I loved about, because Tiffani is preferred attorney here at Norlux Realty, and every time you teach, one of your attorneys teach, it's always giving information. This is what you guys need to know. Like trying to make sure this is real life. And I love the real life stories. And I always say, Tiffani gets up there, I was like, that's what we need to hear, the real life stories, because.
And when you're dealing with the largest transaction potentially that someone will ever have, you want to make sure that you're knowledgeable about it, and to be able to partner with the attorney, with the lender, with whomever is part of that transaction,
you're only going to win.
Right.
You're only going to win, even when things don't go the way client may expect them to go.
Yeah, and this is
that happens.
right. And that's what I tell people. Like, your buyer or seller, they're going to be frustrated.
Absolutely.
And it's okay for them to be mad.
Okay.
It's okay for them to be sad. You don't have to overcompensate for their feelings. Allow them to feel. Allow them to be mad when they didn't tell the truth and something comes up that prevents them from closing. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Allow them to feel the emotional roller coaster of all of the things, and it's okay. Just because they are doesn't mean that you have to go and attack someone or whatever.
But a lot of it is the education of the realtor really
They
controls
don't know.
all that. It's like, as the agents, we pretty much are the ones that oversee the lender, the legal
We're the
piece.
orchestrator.
We're the
Yes.
orchestrator. And if we're inexperienced or we might not have and had that situation become, things can come awry.
Yeah.
But it's like partnering and just listening. Say, hey, Tiffani, I really don't know. You've been in the game 20 years. Tell me what I need to do.
Yeah.
So we need to work as, hand in hand.
And that's what we love about working with you and your attorneys.
Yeah.
Talk about the impact of that on family and the family dynamic with your husband, with your kids, because as Black women, we think we can do it all. We think we are superwoman, bionic woman. We will, move the earth if we can. But talk about how owning your own law firm has impacted your family.
I'm just grateful that I started 10 years ago when my kids were young. When being around, I mean, of course it mattered, but when they're young kids or whatever, as long as they get to see you every day, for them it's satisfying. It's enough.
Yeah.
As they get older and, they start getting more active and they actually want to talk to you and they want to tell you how their day is after they get out of school. I'm just grateful that I started earlier, because when you do go into entrepreneurship 100%, I mean, 100% of your bills are depending on you to make something happen.
Yeah.
And it's a lot of work. Like, it is literally all day, every day type thing. How are you going to get business to the place where it's going to come in no matter what?
Right.
And how do you get it that consistent?
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
In the beginning,
Either you're going to be a great entrepreneur or you're not. There's no middle ground.
Yeah. It's almost like it's almost as though you just, we all want a plan B, but your mindset got to be, listen,
I'm not going to plan B.
Going back to what you said earlier when you were younger, I'm going to be a lawyer. I'm going to be a lawyer. It's almost like, no matter what happens, I'm going to do this. And it's the same way on the next level when you get your own business. It's like, I have no other choice.
Feelings don't matter. A lot of social media talks about like the soft life and balance and burnout and all of that. If you're not experiencing all of those things, then you're not going to be a successful entrepreneur. Those things, figuring that out, comes after you have put everything into place to get you where you can coast. But while you're building, you should be overwhelmed.
It's part of it.
You should be stressed out. You should be burnt out. You should be, because
I don't know, Tiff, you're scaring me now.
I'm not, because the internet is going to tell you something false. It's going to tell you to go hire a bunch of people. It's going to tell you to put all these people, put all these processes, and put all these things in place. But in the beginning, think about a baby. How much does a newborn baby need its mom? All of the time.
All the time.
All the time.
All the time.
To eat, to sleep, to
survive.
All of the time. You know what I'm saying? And so you have to be able to give yourself to your business. You can't give it to somebody else.
Yeah.
Nobody's going to care about it as much as you're going to care about it. Nobody's going to make sure that everything is done the way that you want it to be done.
Yeah.
So when you give power too soon,
Yeah.
you're not going to be successful.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah. No, I feel
takes
that.
time.
I feel that. You gotta put 1,000% in, you know, because we all have that same 24. We was watching something earlier today saying, you know, we all have the same 24 hours. It's just what you're doing with it, right? But yeah, you got to be all in. If you're not all in,
Yeah, and I mean, when I was building, and not to say I'm built, you know, because in real estate you gotta continue building and stuff. I would say that it was frustrating, you know, even for my husband, because it was comparison. But it can affect, you know, like your partner.
Of course.
And their feelings of like, hey, you know, like, what about me? Absolutely. But again, we talk about sacrifice.
Yeah.
And sometimes you end up sacrificing some of those things that are important, that should be in the forefront. But it's either for your business, figuring it out.
Absolutely.
And in figuring it out, we talk about being a woman and doing all of the things. That's why it's hard to create that balance when you're building. Yeah. Because you have to be all of the things, no matter what. You got to find a way to show up for your spouse, to show up for your kid, but also show up 15,000% for your business.
Where do you find that energy? Because I know for me, it's tough. And I know for me, making that transition to being an entrepreneur from corporate is difficult, right? Because you do, like you said, you have to go 100%. And sometimes 100% means 100% for the business, 50% for my spouse. And Will may not understand that. And I know we've had some, you know, challenges in our marriage figuring out how do we manage
both? I mean, because we're in the business together, which is a whole nother layer of
you know, and that has definitely, you know, either brought us down to our weakest point in our marriage, but also brought us to our strongest point as well. How did you and your husband work through, I'm sure, where you were giving 100% to your business because that's the income that's coming in for your part, and making sure that he gets what he needs?
I think it's a forever work through type thing. I don't think that we have I mean, the great thing, I have a great spouse. And so having a great spouse that understands, you know, like, this is Tiffani. This is how she's wired. I ask him to retire me all the time, and he's like, I never asked you to work. Right? And he said, but it's you. You want this. Like, as much as you come home and you're like going through this, that, and the other, you continue to open up offices. You continue to hire more people. You continue to do all these things.
you're a boss. Just you're a boss.
So I accept you for who you are. You know, even though you lie to me every day and say you want something different, you know, I accept you. So, like, part of it is, you know, just your spouse and them understanding who you are. Right. My husband is very, he don't have stress. Like, he just lives life every day for what it is.
I love him already.
Like,
I love him already.
But he's also like, he's an entrepreneur himself. He's not going to go after business how I go after business. Yeah. He's going to, whatever comes to him is just going to come to him. But then I have the push. Like, oh, it's going to come to you because I'm going to put. You know, I'm going to push it.
I think that's the beauty of it. I think that's, you know, talking about the marriage thing, we complement each other. So you and your husband complement each other.
For sure.
Because I'm sort of laid. I'm sort of, when you were describing your husband, I was thinking about that sound like me. Because I'm more laid back. I'm just sort of, but Key is sort of like, boom, let's make this happen. Boom. She puts things in place. But together, it's like, boom. Yeah. You know what I mean? So
because when I get at over capacity, then I get to go cry and I get to go hug him, and he gets to say, it's gonna be okay. Yeah. You know, he's not over capacity, and we're both like, you know what I'm saying? He's like, it's always going to be okay,
Right.
you know? And it just works out the
That's a
way
blessing
that it needs to.
to
It's
have
definitely a blessing,
that in
for
your
sure.
corner.
As a woman, as an African-American woman in a male-dominated industry, how have you been able to get to this point? Because did people take you serious coming into the business?
Somebody
Or was
just
it-
questioned my knowledge yesterday.
Oh, wow.
So I don't know why people feel like other people know more, right? Other people who don't look
Right.
like me,
Yeah.
you know, they question whether or not I know what I'm doing.
Yeah. Right.
They want to run things by
Other-
their attorney,
Uh-huh.
other attorneys, other larger firms,
Yeah.
as
And then
if
come back to you with,
whatever their proposed plan, or
Right.
this person would never do this, or you don't know what you're talking about. I get challenged
Wow.
daily.
how do you handle that?
Hawes Law Firm is owned by Tiffani Hawes. The only higher authority that tells me what I can and what I can't do is the Georgia Bar, right? Who holds my license.
Right.
Other than that, I don't care what any attorney out here says. If I know what I'm never going to speak on something
Right.
that I don't know what I'm talking
Right.
about.
Right.
If I don't know, I'm going to find out. I'm going to figure it out.
Mm.
And so I just stand firm in whatever I'm saying. And I'll tell people in a heartbeat, you can go somewhere else. You know,
Sure.
I don't allow, other people's, I guess, perspective of me.
Yeah. Or
Um,
opinions.
or
just-
opinions make me sway, like, oh, well, do I know what I'm talking about? Of
Yeah.
course I
Yeah.
know what I'm talking
Yeah.
about. It's not another attorney. It's not another male or anybody that can say anything different.
Sure.
Not saying that I don't learn and, there's not new things that come to me.
Of course.
But I get challenged
Yeah.
at being a African-American woman attorney
Yeah.
in an industry where, like, all of the larger law firms go through their staff, go through their attorneys, and see how many of us
Yeah.
you see on there.
Yeah. Yeah.
But when I walk into these rooms, guess who they know?
Mm-hmm.
Me.
You. Yes.
I walked into, we have this meeting every month where it's like a lot of the closing attorneys in Atlanta. And I walk in, and all these people who don't look like me, I know you. Oh my God, I love what you're doing.
Yeah.
This is this, this is this. I don't know who 75% of them
Yeah.
are, but they know
Of course.
Yeah.
who I am.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. That's
And
awesome.
so I stand in that. You wouldn't know who I was
Exactly.
unless.
If I didn't have a presence.
Correct.
I knew what I was talking about.
Correct.
Yeah.
I can imagine that sometimes that takes a hit to your when they're questioning you, or
It's very
I went to
frustrating.
this attorney who looks different than us, right? And I'm coming back to you saying, well, they told me this and you said this, but
Mhm.
so what does that mean? How frustrating.
It means that you didn't tell them the whole story.
Oh,
Right.
It means that if they called
Right.
me, they would say,
Yeah.
oh, I understand, right? It means that you don't know what you're talking about. But when I tell you, it's so frustrating. I've been in therapy for years,
Yeah.
and I still sometimes don't know how to deal without letting that stuff, like, get to me.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
it's
Yeah, it's
definitely
tough.
a weakness.
And I think
Yeah.
it doesn't matter how long you've been in the business. Key and I had a situation
Oh.
recently, and it was like,
It
we're
was
like,
like
man, we've
a
been
punch
doing
in
it.
the
We've been
stomach.
doing this a while, but we still feel that, like,
Yeah.
when somebody does something that's just like, what?
And the thing is, everybody tells you, well, just, you just got to keep moving, don't think about it, don't internalize it, just keep moving. But you often wonder, well, what was it about me that made you do whatever? it was that-
You know,
that
we're
made you
human. We're
question me,
human,
that
right?
made you question me or made you go in a different direction. And yeah, we're human. So, of course, we try to quickly internalize it and move on versus sit in it.
Yeah.
But absolutely, therapy is something that you have to do even when everything is great.
Yeah. Yeah. Big proponents of it.
Yeah, because we've got to stay healthy in this entrepreneurial business.
Yeah.
How does that help you keep moving?
My therapist always puts things in perspective. And she always makes it clear that you're going to feel these things.
Yeah.
Therapy doesn't it doesn't take away how you feel.
Right.
It doesn't take away, things that affect you. Like, this is just real life. Like, if you're looking for that to happen, it's not going to happen. And so she just puts things in a way where it just makes you like, because sometimes you get so caught up in yourself. It's like, it's just me. And it's really not,
it's not.
This person is probably the same person that cusses out somebody in drive-thru. Right. It's the same person that
that's that
does,
person.
It's just that person. And I had to realize that because I would really take, honestly, a lot of things personally all of the time, because it's like, but I want you to know that I know. I know.
I'm smart.
I'm smart.
I'm professional. I'm all
I can do, I know.
Yeah.
I know what I'm talking about. And sometimes it's okay. It's like I had to tell myself, I don't have to prove to everybody that I am a good human, that I am professional, that I do know what I'm talking about, because oftentimes I really wanted people to know, like, I'm a good person. I would never intentionally do anything. I am. And really and truly in real life, like, I really am. Yeah. But the proving it to everybody, like, it's unnecessary.
Yeah, now.
Because there's going to be some people, no matter how good of a human you are, they're looking for the negative. They're looking for something to make them feel better about themselves, And me personally, like, I just want to live right. I want to do right by people. I want to do good things. I want to be a resource for people. Yeah. Like, in this industry, what brings me life is just knowing that people can rely on me, not to get things 100% right all the time. Because I'm human. I hire staff. People have good days. People have bad days. People miss things. It's just a part of life. Like, it really is a part of life.
I tell Key, we're at a point now where it comes with it. Mm-hmm. It comes with the territory. We're going to run into situations where it may be some crazy stuff going on, and it's part of the journey.
Yep.
So now it comes, it's like, okay, Key, boom. All right, let's dust that off. Let's just keep moving.
Yeah, what do you need? And I tell people all the time, I'm never going to ghost you. If something happens, you can call me. And I'm going to be like, you know what? Let me figure this out.
Yeah.
I'm going to figure out a way to, like, whatever the situation is. And it always works out. But you never have to worry about a problem arising and then me leaving because I don't want to deal with it, or I don't want to face it head on, or I don't want to do. No, you're going to call me, and I'm going to put things. Yeah. For example, last year, fraud is a big thing, right? Mm-hmm.
Big thing.
Fraud is a huge, huge thing. And every closing attorney in Georgia, anywhere, has been affected by wire fraud, right? Okay. Every last one of them, everyone, right? I wasn't affected until I was affected, right? Yeah. We got a call 4 days after a file closed from a seller like, hey, my mortgage is still saying it's due. What's going on?
Wow.
And I'm like, well, no, here's the wire confirmation.
Yeah.
It's paid off. And they're like, no, they're saying it's not. So then, like, what's going on?
Spidey sense.
Yes, something's going on. Mm-hmm. So find out that the wiring instructions, somebody traded the payoff with different wiring instructions. My staff didn't catch it. The wire went out. It was like for $200,000. The seller, of course, was scared, didn't know what was going on. I said, well, you know what? I'm paying off your mortgage right now. Praise God, it was $200,000, and I had, the money to be able to do that. And then working to get it back, I'm going to do that on my time.
Right. Yeah.
But for you,
I'm going to fix it.
I'm going to fix this right now. This is a huge issue.
Sure.
Yeah.
Massive. But for you, it's a non-issue.
It's done.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
not everybody's going to handle that situation like that.
Exactly.
Some people are going to try and find the resolve that's going to resolve it for them first before they can resolve it, which there's plenty of things. You have insurance.
Yeah.
You have title insurance. You have all of these things that takes time. But this lady wasn't expecting this it's very unfortunate. Right. But in that moment, I took action immediately.
Right.
You know? Immediately. That's how I take when it comes to anything.
That's why you everybody's favorite closing attorney.
Yes, you are. Yes,
Listen,
you are.
Tiffani, we are so excited. We're thankful that you took time to sit with us and just share this knowledge. And again, real stories, real situations that happens in this real estate business. Is there anything you want to leave our audience with for those younger women or even women of our age who continue to dream?
Seasoned girls.
Yes. Because I think seeing real people like yourself, like ourselves, it's like it gives hope. Like, hey, no, we have issues, but you can definitely do it.
I would say what I want to leave with people is just being your authentic self. Being who you truly are. You don't have to look at social media. You don't have to look at me. You don't have to look at anybody else and compare yourself to them. Be who you are and truly believe that everything is not just for everybody. Right. It's for you too. Like whatever that is, whatever you want to be, you truly can do that. Like I said, for me, I just kept saying it. And then I just kept doing the things that would lead me to becoming a lawyer. Right. You know, say it, believe it.
Yeah.
Do the work.
Do the work. Whatever that, I mean, Google, Chat GPT, all of these things are.
There's no excuses.
It's no, you can ask Siri.
Yes.
How can, you want to be an esthetician? Siri, what steps do I need to take to become an esthetician?
It's amazing.
Well, you need to do this, this. And start with step one.
There's literally no excuse.
No excuse.
No excuse.
Even if you're internally battling things, if your circumstances are not that great, if you take one little step at a time and you keep moving, because all of the people that you're watching and you're seeing and you're admiring, they're going through the exact same thing. Like you can't see it. You can't believe it. I think the one benefit that social media has done with celebrities, you see celebrities high, and then you see them when they crash. Yeah. Because guess what? Being a celebrity does not prevent you from going through life just like everybody else. Right. And so people are able to see that it's not this certain person that life and great things in life is for. It's for everybody. You just all have to fight whatever battles that we're going through and just take that little step at a time.
Wow.
I do have a quick question before we wrap. What are your overall thoughts about social media? Do you think it's great, or do you think it's...
I think social media has been an amazing blessing for me. It allowed me to find my niche in business, which allowed me to be present with my kids and not out there, right? Yeah. But it also, because you're seeing all the greatness, it doesn't matter who you are. It doesn't matter if you say, oh, I don't care. You care. You begin to look at things and become affected by it. You begin to see perfection, and you want that perfection for yourself.
Or what we think is perfection.
What we think is perfection.
That's
and
the
you
difference.
want that for yourself. You want to look and be and do all of those things because you see everybody else doing it.
Yeah.
But for me, like, I'm so content with who I am that although it affects me some, it doesn't affect me a lot. But for a lot of people, it affects them. Yeah. So it's utilizing it for the right purposes. Right. And knowing when to shut it off when it becomes too much for you.
Yeah. Don't let it interfere with your dreams, family.
Yes.
Listen, this is the Women Who Dare to Dream series with the lovely Tiffani Hawes.
We love her so. We thank you so much for being a part of our Key and Will podcast. We know you're super busy. You've got offices throughout Atlanta. How can people reach you?
You can find me on all social media.
Just type in
platforms.
Tiffani
Just type
Hawes.
in. I'm there.
She's everywhere.
Yeah.
Yes.
And blessings to you guys.
Thank you.
The energy, the authenticity, like for you, entrepreneurship is for you.
Thank you.
Like as you're shifting out of the corporate world,
Yeah.
if it was, I didn't even know
Yeah.
that you were in corporate.
Yeah.
That's how much entrepreneurship is for you.
Wow.
Y'all have the support of one another, which support is one of the greatest things. I could not do this without the support of my husband. I could not do it. You have the support, you have the mind for it, you have the energy for it, you have you just give off honesty, integrity, and
We appreciate
yes. And
Yes.
so blessings to you. You got this.
Yes.
It's gonna be great.
Yes.
Yes. And if you need anything, you know, I'm always here.
Yes.
Yeah, for sure.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Man, family, what an episode. Listen.
Thank you guys for tuning in
Yes.
to Ken Will's More You Know podcast. Make sure you like, subscribe,
Yes.
comment, share, do all the
Do
things.
all
of
the
the
things.
Yes, all the things. And make sure you tune in next time.
We love you.
We love you.
Peace.
Peace.